guys, so I'm here at school right now and I'm on my lunch break, but a how I study video was requested, so I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit of how I study and some study tips that I can give to any RT students, nursing students, any type of student. Basically, these are study tips for anybody, and this is how I study. And so let me just talk a little bit about what kind of learner I am. So first of all, I figured out that I'm an auditorial learner / visual learner and a little bit of tactile learner. So for me, recording the lectures would be amazing. I hardly ever do it because I'm like, I don't have the time to sit there and listen to lectures. But if I just put on my AirPods, turn on the recording, press play, hook it up to my AirPods, I could be brushing my teeth, I could be ironing my clothes, doing laundry, washing dishes, doing everyday things, everyday chores, and listening to the lecture. I could be driving and listening to the lecture. So that's definitely a study tip. If you're an auditorial learner, try your best to record all of your lectures and play them while you're driving to school, play them while you're driving to work, anywhere you're going, just play them. Anything you're doing, brushing your teeth, getting your clothes ready, play them. And I actually want to start doing that, so I'm gonna implement that into my study habits, and I know that's gonna work. What I also do is I watch YouTube videos. I know you're not supposed to be on your phone when you're driving, but I'll play the YouTube video and I'll be looking at the road, paying attention to my driving. I don't even have to look at the video. All I have to do is listen to it. So I'll just let it play and I'll be driving, or even when I'm at home while I'm getting ready, I put on YouTube videos and I just let it play in the background while I'm doing my makeup, doing my hair, brushing my teeth, whatever it is. And I put it loud enough so I'm able to hear it. Recommend Respiratory Therapy Zone, and I recommend Ninja. I'm gonna have to look him up, but I'll put his name right here so you can see it. I'll put another person that I recommend. These are people that videos that we are given in our lectures and in our class, we watch them. They have every single topic, so whatever you guys are lecturing in that week, you can just keep listening to those videos every single day while you're driving, while you're at home getting ready, or just laying in the bed. Another study tip is to read it out loud. For me, I have to read out loud. If I'm not reading out loud, then I'm not really learning anything. In my room, and it's just me by myself, and I can read out loud because as I'm reading out loud, I'm listening and I'm hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth. If I'm reading in my head, I start getting distracted and I start thinking about, oh, what am I gonna eat later on? What am I gonna do tomorrow? What do I have to do later on today? Or I start getting distracted and thinking about other things. But if I'm reading out loud, I'm focused and I'm listening to what I'm saying. So it's much, much better that way. The fourth tip would be to take notes in class on things that are not on the lecture. Whatever's not on the PowerPoint, take notes on that. You could either be, if you're a typer, have your Microsoft Word out and then have your PowerPoint on the left side, or even have your book out. If you can have your book out, your PowerPoint, and your Microsoft Word template where you can type in extra notes that they're talking about that are not in the PowerPoint and that are not in the book, or maybe you haven't even read the book yet, just type it out. What I do is whenever I'm taking notes, I'm not taking notes on the PowerPoints because that information has already been given to us, and we should be looking at our PowerPoint before class. So that's my fifth tip. But my fourth tip is to take notes on things that are not on your PowerPoint. My 5th tip is to have your book out, have your PowerPoint out, and you could even print out your PowerPoint in this 3-section thing that'll give you little lines to take notes. If you want to print out your PowerPoints before you go to class, where it gives you like extra sections to take notes, I would definitely recommend that 100%. And then just take the extra notes that are not in the PowerPoints and try to follow along with your book. Whatever chapter you guys had to read before class, have that chapter open, and whatever chapter they're lecturing on, have that chapter open in your book. We have ebooks, so on our iPad we can have one tab with our book and one tab with our Microsoft Word taking notes, and that is very helpful because you can reference to the book and you can reference to your PowerPoint, and it's like you get double learning. My 6th one would be read before you get to class. Read at night before you go to bed, because for some reason when you read before you go to bed, that information stays in your head. It like, I don't know, it simmers and cooks up in your brain while you're sleeping, and it just does something to read before you go to bed. That information just sticks in your head. If you have an ebook and it allows you to take notes on that, then do that. But I also, on my ebook, I highlight the most important information and then I write it down. And when I say read your book, I mean have a notebook. If you like to write notes, have a notebook and have your book and then take notes. Also, at the end of your chapter, there's going to be questions. So after you have read your chapter and took notes on your chapter, the most important things of the chapter, then I would suggest going and making a Quizlet out. So number 7, make a Quizlet out of your questions that are at the end of your book and answer them. Some books will have the answers to the questions at the end of the book. So first try to answer them yourself and then go back to the end of the book and look for the answers and compare your answers. That has helped me out a lot. When I make a Quizlet on those questions, I go back and test myself on those questions, and that really helps. Number 8, I use Quizlet to test myself. So that's what I do. Once I've read the book, once I've went over my PowerPoint, then I look over my notes from lecture, then I go to Quizlet and then I type in whatever chapter we're on. I'll type that into Quizlet, and I'll look at other people's Quizlets, and then I'll test myself from their Quizlets, because you have an option to do multiple choice test with other people's Quizlets, and it's completely free. You don't have to pay anything. So download Quizlet app onto your phone and do Quizlet tests. Test yourself, and that really helps me a lot. I also do flashcards. Number 9, flashcards. Flashcards help me so much when I'm just laying in bed and I'm being lazy and I really don't feel like studying. I set my alarm on my phone, 8 p.m. That's when the kids go to bed, 8 p.m. I get my flashcards out, I sit on my bed and I start quizzing myself on my flashcards. Or I'll ask my fiance, can you quiz me on these flashcards? And I'll hand them to him, and then he'll quiz me on the flashcards, and that helps me out a whole lot. So this is one way that I study, using flashcards. So I look at the PowerPoint, and I'm also looking at my CLO study guide, and I wrote down all of the questions that are on my CLO study guide, and now I'm looking at the PowerPoint to find the answers in those PowerPoints, and then if I don't find the answers in there, then I'll look in the book. Last is to look in Quizlet, because Quizlet also helps a whole lot as well. I have asked my daughter to quiz me on flashcards also, and those help out a lot. Number 10, Stay organized. Have a to-do list. Know what is most important to study. Know what quizzes are coming up. Know what exams are coming up, and have a little checklist. For me, I have to have a checklist. I make my checklist first. Before I even start my study session, I go through all of my assignments and my homework, and I start making a checklist. What do I need to do first? What's due first? What assignments are due? What do I need to study for? And be very gracious, not gracious, but be very specific with your time, because it's all about time management. You don't need to study for hours and hours. I thought I had to study for hours and hours. I thought I had to study every single day. I don't. You don't. As long as you're studying the most important information that's going to be on your quizzes, that's going to be on your tests, and stuff that's critical when you're going to your clinical rotations that you just have to know, then you're going to be fine. Even studying 1 to 2 hours at night before you go to bed, that's going to be extremely helpful, because it's all about repetition. Practice and practice and practice and practice is what gets it drilled in your head and what helps you to really learn the information. So take 1 or 2 hours a night before you go to bed to study. Number 11, give yourself 1 day to rest. I don't care if it's a Friday night. I don't care if it's Saturday. I give myself Friday nights to rest. Before, I would give myself like a Saturday, or sometimes I would give myself a Saturday, but normally I give myself Friday night, because Friday night I'm just drained. When it comes to Friday night, I'm drained. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just tired. So give yourself 1 day to 1 day to rest. Just give yourself 1 day to rest, and that'll be good for you.